Well, with me now in the studio is Walid Madibo, who is the founder and president of the Sudan Policy Forum. Good to see you again. What do you make of these arrests of prominent opposition figures? I mean, just hours after the Prime Minister of Ethiopia was there trying to mediate between the two sides. How do we make sense of it?
The Prime Minister realizes that there are regional implications for disintegrating Sudan. And disintegrating Sudan is going to destabilize the whole Sudanic belt, and that will open the door for extremist groups to be moving freely along the whole Sudanic belt, and that is going to affect negatively the security of Europe and the safety of Africans in this part of the world. But what he doesn't realize is he can only provide an exit strategy for these officers, especially the two senior officers controlling the Transitional Military Council, mainly Burhan and Hemeti. There is no way that the Sudanese people can go back to accepting them as negotiating partners.
To what extent was mediating on the one side with the wrong people, in that who he really should be talking to, it seems, is the head of the Rapid Defense Forces, the guy who's under the head of the military council.
But see, the problem with the head of the Rapid Support Forces, the RSF, is that he is using sheer force. He thinks that by shooting individuals, he can shoot the moral consciousness of the Sudanese people. So he's very myopic, he's very limited in his intellect, and he is being played into the hands of the Islamists who have very interest in allowing him to hang himself, and without him realizing it. Even though national figures have talked to him, the people in the sitting at the very beginning, they very much welcomed and entrusted him. They thought that he genuinely sided with the Sudanese people, only to realize that he is coalescing with Islamist groups, with security forces, and to suppress the protesters in the sit-in. So he is not politically mature, and the more he realizes that he is being played into the hands of others, the more he becomes dangerous, because then it's just going to lead, it will inevitably, Adrian, lead to a confrontation between different factions within the army itself. And there are many militias. Of every 5 individuals in Sudan, 1 individual has automatic machine gun.
Right.
So the worst is yet to happen.
It could get a lot worse before it.
The worst is yet to happen.
Does the head of the military council have control over his deputy, this guy, the head of the Rapid Defense Forces, or is there a split within the military over a future vision for the country? It seems that you've got the head of the military council saying, yes, we're open to negotiating, to mediation, we'll talk to anybody at any time. And then you've got the Rapid Defense Forces appearing to act with impunity.
There are some nuances and some subtleties there, but to make the situation, the picture just very simple for our viewers, unlike Egypt and some other countries in the region, the Sudanese army has been infiltrated by many Islamist groups. So it is a very ideologized, just like the Iranian army or any other armies in the region. It's very ideologized. It has been very much corrupted by, money laundering. There are many deals, so they no longer represent the integrity of the national army itself. So when we talk about the army, we better put it between parentheses, because the army itself is split. The senior officers, they have very much interest in maintaining the status quo. The less senior officers, mainly the junior officers, they would very much want to side with the Sudanese people. The situation is very complicated, but I think Burhan he's in the boat with Hemeti, because these are the very people, the very officers who have helped Hemeti. They have been part of the genocide in Darfur. They themselves have been they have committed atrocities. So rather than making a step back, they feel that, guess what, let us finish the whole thing, and now they are being supported by regional partners. So they have no reason to think that they should just bring together a political consensus that can save the whole Sudanese nation.
I always learn something when we talk. Walid,
Thank you,
many
Adrian.
thanks indeed.
Thank you.
Walid Madibo there.